Welcome to the Lunch Hour with Mr. Credit.
I mean, I wake up in the morning, I piss excellence. You know, I'm just a big, hairy American winning machine.
And today, it's Fastball Friday.
Life moves pretty fast. You don't stop and look around once in a while, you could miss it.
And today, anything goes. Quick-hitting, local and relevant topics for everyone to stay informed and entertained.
Are you not entertained? Is this not why you are here?
And now, the Lunch Hour with Mr. Credit on ESPN Radio 1700.
Welcome to the Lunch Hour with Mr. Credit. This is Ron Greenwald, your host today for the show, and we are going to have a fantastic and very informative and hopefully a very empowering show for you today. Before I introduce our fantastic panel today, I want to ask some questions out there of our listening audience. The first one being is, do you have parents? Do you have mom and dad? Do you have grandparents that are here in San Diego? And third, maybe do you have great-grandparents that are here in San Diego? If your answer is yes to any of those questions, I encourage you to stay tuned for today's show. Briefly, to introduce our guest, we have Bruce McPherson with Reverse Security One Lending. I'm sorry, a reverse mortgage specialist. We have Sunita Upchurch with Elder Help. Welcome to the show today.
Thank you.
And we have Michael Sclar with Comfort Keepers. Welcome to the show today.
Good afternoon, Ron.
And first, we want to, given the events of this week, we want to thank our first responders for doing such a marvelous job. They are out there on the forefront of danger, and we wish them well. And we wish anybody in harm's way that they have a speedy and fast recovery. So that leads us into, first I want to thank Derek Evans, Mr. Credit, for allowing us to have this opportunity to have this show today. And we are going to discuss how you, as children, grandchildren, can be senior advocates and really understand what is going on in our community with our seniors and have give them the respect that they deserve so much. I also want to thank ESPN for this opportunity to have this show on this Friday, and Broadcast Companies of America, the owner of this station. So with that, we're going to move forward. And the purpose of this show today is to move you in the listening audience to awareness and involvement to support our elders so that they can enjoy the highest quality of life. We hope to entertain you and celebrate with you the amazing achievements that organizations are doing here, both private organizations, nonprofit organizations, is to reach out to our seniors to allow them to have that high quality of life, to encourage them to socialization, and to encourage them to become involved, and to encourage you as children and grandchildren to become involved in their lives. Because as we know, we see all too often that many of our seniors who live alone, or even if they don't live alone, they live kind of in a family dynamics that doesn't always allow them to enjoy their golden years. Many of them have lost faith, to be honest with you, with humanity because they are being just pounded by low-life crooks who want to take advantage of them. We'll talk about the grandma I'm in jail scam or the foreign lottery scam. It is an epidemic. So, again, I encourage you to listen to the show today, and I know that it will be very empowering to you. If you have those, given certainly the events of this week, have you reached out to your folks? Have you reached out to your grandparents to make sure that they're safe? What are they doing to secure their safety? So the greatest thing that we can do is just to reach out to them. If you notice any type of changes in behavior, are they getting up in the morning? Are they active? Are they eating properly? Little things like that can be a huge sign that there are issues that you need to address with them. And again, you have to be very, very careful. This is not a situation where you can go in guns blazing and change that role where you are now the parent of your parent and they become the children. You have to do it with that understanding and that, what's the word I'm looking for? You have to do it with some caressing and some caring so that they maintain their independence at all times, or they feel that they're maintaining their independence at all times. So the panel we have assembled today, Bruce McPherson with Security One Lending, Sunita Upchurch with Elder Help, Michael Sclar with Comfort Keepers, they are all working on the forefront to keep our seniors safe and to give them options. It's all about options. So we have, I'm getting very involved with Twitter, and we're going to get more and more involved with Twitter because I know you as children and grandchildren, great-grandchildren are on that, Facebook, Twitter, and other forms of social media, is hashtag senior stay or go. Because what our seniors are looking for today are options as to what are the best choices for them in terms of maintaining their quality of life, as much independence as possible, and the right type of planning. So again, the options in staying, if you talk to your parents, you talk to most seniors, what do they want to do? They want to stay in their home. If you talk to 1,000 seniors, and again, I even using the word senior, most seniors don't consider themselves seniors until they're about 95 today. But even, 85, I'll call you a senior, and you want to stay in your home. Well, what are the options? How safe is that home for them? We know right here in our backyard in the last 6 months, we've had a couple. Fall is probably the number one reason that our seniors possibly have a fatal fall or they end up in the hospital. It's not because of anything other than a fall down the stairs or in the bathroom and things like that. So that's something that we want to talk about. What are their options? Senior stay or go. Hashtag senior stay or go. How to make that home safe. And that's not giving up your independence if you make your home safe. That's granting you independence. That's giving you security that you will be able to stay in your home if you do some modifications to that home. And Elder Help can address what they do in the community. And it's a nonprofit organization, so we're going to ask for some money maybe at the end of this thing, and hopefully. And then care management. We're involved with, we have Michael here about care management and home care, and we'll talk at length about that. Again, we know that most people don't want somebody coming into their home. And you, as a busy person out there listening to this show today, you have your children that you may be dealing with that are in grade school. You may be busy executive, working 5 days a week, 10 hours a day. And the idea of caring for mom or dad or going to see mom and dad is a little overwhelming. Well, that tension, that anxiety spills over into the family dynamics, the family relationship. And now everybody is aghast as to when a crisis strikes. And so, hey, let's avoid crisis management. I mean, we've been dealing, you can see this whole week here in San Diego what crisis management is all about and how that gets played out. So we're going to address that. At the point in time that they do need to possibly consider housing options other than the home they lived in for 40, 50, 60 years, we just had our camera. So if we are on camera, we're going to have some issues. 40 or 50, 60 years, think about the dynamics of moving mom or dad, that they've gathered all their belongings in this home for 50 or 60 years, and now you are asking them to move, or you're insisting that they move, and that you were brought up in this home and things like that. So how to handle those situations. So we'll talk about the planning. So again, I'm going to introduce right now Sunita Upchurch with Elder Help. Sunita, welcome to the show.
Thank you.
Tell us a little bit about who you are and how you got involved with Elder Help, and a little bit about Elder Help's vision.
Okay. Well, Elder Help is a community organization, nonprofit organization that helps seniors remain at home and independent, home and in their communities. Some of the things that we provide for seniors are care management through our Concierge Club. So it offers care coordination. So through the coordination program, they talk about health literacy. So helping the seniors who want to remain at home get through that network of care, which is oftentimes very complex, and connecting them to community resources that will allow them to remain at home.
How old do you need to be considered a senior in Elder Help?
Well, Our programs typically are 60 and up. Are considered seniors, but most of our seniors are much more advanced in age.
How long have you been in San Diego?
Elder Help has been in San Diego since 1973.
Oh, okay, 1973.
Right.
And again, tell me about your background and how you became involved.
Okay. Well, I have over 20 years of long-term care, aging and long-term care experience. I started out working with seniors in the state of Ohio. It snowed,
by the way.
Yes.
Thought I'd throw that out there for those in
a pre-admission program, which kind of did waivered services, so that allowed seniors to remain at home. And I have worked with Elder Help since 2005. As a Homeshare Coordinator for the city of Poway. And I have my bachelor's in social work and my master's is in rehabilitation counseling. So a lot of times that comes into play when people are transitioning in and out of nursing homes or hospitals. You talked about falls.
We're going to take a break in about a minute here, so give us the phone number. If we have a listener whose mom or dad could use your services, who would they call? What phone? Give us a phone number that they would call.
To contact Elder Help, they would call 619-284-9281.
You give that again.
619-284-9281. 9281.
And at that point, who would they be talking to at that point?
At that point, they would probably get into our receptionist, who would get some initial information and then be able to transfer their call to the appropriate party.
Okay, please stay tuned. We're going to have a lot more with Bruce McPherson of Security One Lending talking about how there's financing this care, and then Michael Sclar with Comfort Keepers on how to have some home care. So please stay tuned. We'll be right back. Do not go away.
Welcome back to the Lunch Hour with Mr. Credit. And today it's Fastball Friday on ESPN Radio 1700.
Welcome back. You are listening to the Lunch Hour with Mr. Credit. I am Ron Greenwald, your host today. And in studio today we have Sunita Upchurch with Elder Help, Bruce McPherson with Security One Lending, and Michael Sclar with Comfort Keepers. Sunita, we were talking a little bit about we just got a little brief introduction to Elder Help. Give us the kind of an overview of the services that can be provided. We were talking a little bit at break about that. Let's expand on services a go-go and concierge, and give us an update.
Right. So our concierge program is basically, we have care coordinators who will go out and do home visits and help develop a plan of care and assess the individual based on whatever their needs are. Then they develop a plan of care. We have volunteers that provide those services that they need. So if they need our seniors a go-go, which is we refer
this
to as
is not
SAG.
a disco. This is a
this is a transportation service.
Okay, everybody sit down.
And our seniors a go-go transportation service provides drivers. They're volunteer drivers. They're background checked. They will transport seniors to grocery stores or doctor's appointments, and it's door through door. So as opposed to a taxi service where they may pick up the person.
You don't need Uber? Is it Uber?
Yeah.
Uber, Sidecar, Lyft. You got options these days, Ron.
Okay. I'm sorry.
Right. So they will pick the person up at their door, take them to the next door that they go to, and oftentimes wait for them during their appointment or whatever they're doing, and then return them to their home and make sure that they get into their home safely.
These are all volunteers working on behalf of Elder Help.
Exactly.
Servicing Elder Help.
Right.
Serving Elder. Tell a little bit what I've always been excited about, because I think we're going to go in that direction, is all my kids are in their 20s and they have lots of roommates, and you have roommates when you go to college and then right after college until you decide to get a life. But I think we're going back to, in our seniors, they're going to start rooming together. So you have a program for that.
We do. We have the Homeshare program. And through the Homeshare program, we have seniors who Oftentimes, we have two programs. One is called the rental program, and those are people who are pretty independent, may have lost an income and want to replace it. Typically, they've lost an income, a death of a spouse, and they want to replace that income, so they're interested in using their home by renting out a room to someone at an affordable cost, and then they have that supplemental income. Sometimes they rent the rooms in order to supplement their cost of care. So they may need home health care and need that additional income to bring in the care that they need.
And what's so critical about what Sunita just said is, do not let your parent bring someone in off the streets.
Exactly.
And because your people are background checked and certified, so to speak, that
Right.
they're safe to bring into
Right.
one's home. And what happens so many times, and this is where elder abuse is running rampant, is you are not watching what mom or dad are doing, and they want that extra income. Someone comes, knocks on their door and says, I will live in your garage and I'll pay you $500,000 a month to live in your garage. And before you know it, you have a meth lab in your parents' garage. I've seen it, been there, I've seen it happen. So this elder help is doing you a great service by providing that crisis from coming up down the road.
Right. In addition to the background checking, the interview process, we do follow up the matches. So once a person has moved into the house, we follow up with both parties, because oftentimes it's two seniors who are moving in together. And so we follow up to make sure that the match is going well. We monitor those matches.
So it's like a dating service a little bit.
Yeah, exactly. And so they're
now,
not.
wait. Just okay. I had to ask. Can you have can you have a hookup situation? I'm sorry. It's Friday, and the smoke is starting to.
We do get that question.
Okay, well, it's an honest question.
But unfortunately, that's not the ideal behind the program.
I know. I understand.
I have some clients who would like that.
Yeah.
There are definitely a few.
Yeah, but that's not the intent.
Yeah, that's not the intent. And then the other end of our home share program is called a service exchange, where the individual wants someone to come into their home and either at no cost or very low cost provide a service like grocery shopping, light housekeeping, meal preparation.
So again, one of the things that's so important about all of this is where seniors or your mom or your dad or your grandparents suffer is if they are living alone, the lack of socialization. And that is where the lack of socialization possibly leads to depression. And that leads to kind of what I call depression paralysis, where they just decide they can't get out of their way. And you see a very fast fading of health issues. So again, here is elder help, and the phone number again. Why don't you give me the phone number one more time?
It's 619-284-9281.
So I'm hoping as you're being safe and hoping you're not driving and texting or driving and calling at the same time. But if you think your parents or your grandparents could benefit from this service, give elder help a call. There's a small fee.
Yes, our programs, our home share program is completely free, and our concierge club is on a sliding scale fee based on people's income.
Okay, so you intake all that information.
Yes, we take all that into consideration.
Okay. Michael, let's ask you. How is Comfort Keepers benefiting from this program, and what are your services that you provide?
Sure. So we've worked closely with Elder Help on a number of occasions, both receiving referrals for them when some of their clients, members do need additional care, and vice versa for some of our clients that are looking for an alternative option for living with the home share program. So we've worked closely with them. And what Comfort Keepers does is we generally serve two different types of clients. Those clients that need what we call care services, some more things like the socialization, companionship, meal preparation, laundry, light housekeeping, incidental transportation, grocery shopping, errands, things along those lines. And on the other side, the type of client we serve is those that need personal care, so a little bit more involved, things with like bathing, grooming, and hygiene, mobility assistance, transferring and positioning, toileting and incontinence care, dementia, medical reminders, and kind of end-of-life care. So those are the two different types of clients we generally serve. We do focus a lot on the socialization because we're finding the same thing, that most of our clients do want to stay in their home no matter what, but that is one of the concerns. Depression, who are they going to spend time with? So we spend a lot of time as well at a complimentary assessment where one of our social workers, which we call client care coordinators, will go out to meet with clients and their families to learn not only the physical needs that they will need, but also the personality of the caregiver or attendant, of who they would enjoy working with. Because you mentioned, our seniors who are vulnerable. Sometimes it's a lot more of who they'd get along with, who they'd enjoy working with to make that appropriate match. And same thing, we do offer the case management portion where we will continue the drop-in visits, home visits to make sure it is an adequate fit and make sure they maintain that quality of life, which we're all for.
So if we have someone who's thinking their parents may benefit from your services, who would they call? What number would they call?
So if you are concerned about a parent, grandparent, or great-grandparent, the best number to call is 877-938-8811. Again, that's 877-938-8811. And to tie it in with this week's devastating fires that have been going on, we've been working around the clock to make sure not only our caregivers are safe, but also our clients, even those of our clients who aren't necessarily receiving around-the-clock care, but that we know are living alone, just to make sure they're okay. Of course, we had challenges even getting caregivers, to their clients' homes. But luckily, with the amount of caregivers that we have, we've been able to continue to operate and lend support to some of the assisted living facilities, skilled nursing facilities, hospitals, etc., to deal with this crisis that's going on.
And it is a crisis, and if you are concerned about, with the devastation that's happened this week and the tragedies that have happened this week in North County, mainly in North County, San Diego, you can use this, with every tragedy we have to learn from it. This is an opportunity to have that discussion with mom or dad about the possibility of bringing someone into the home. Maybe you just started out on a very casual, informal basis. You just kind of meet at a meet and greet to get them comfortable with the idea that somebody's going to come into their home and be a benefit, to keep that independence. It's going to give them there will be another fire. We're in May, and here we go. So to give everybody a little bit more peace of mind, I think it's very important that we can use this opportunity to introduce the idea of someone who is very caring and understanding to come into the home to decide, what is the best thing for mom. Tell us a little bit more about Comfort Keepers. It's a home care agency, and again, I want to go back into how you vet your employees.
Sure, and that is a great question about letting anyone into your home. And right now in the state of California, there is no regulation. So as you mentioned, someone knocking on doors, now with the access to internet, we've even seen, posting on Craigslist, someone will offer themselves at, $8 an hour, receive a call from someone who might need help. They might come in once a month just to clean the house for a couple of hours. As that relationship deepens, it turns into a couple times a week. And before you know it, that person's moved in full time. Currently, with medications and things along those lines, our bodies are living a long time, but our minds aren't necessarily. So we come across a lot of clients with cognitive impairment. We specialize in dementia, Alzheimer's, Parkinson's, Huntington's disease. So to avoid any of that, what we've chosen to do is to do full background checks at the federal level. In addition to that, because we do offer transportation for a lot of our seniors, it's, San Diego is a beautiful place, but even to get to the doctors, it's a 10, 15, 20-minute drive. So we do DMV checks. We have a real-time tracking system. So if any of our caregivers were to get a DUI, for instance, last night, we would know about it first thing this morning, because we don't want any of our clients driving with any of our caregivers to drive around with any of our clients. In addition to that, one of the things we haven't touched upon is medication reminders. A lot of our seniors are taking medications, so we do a full 9-panel drug test. So a lot of our seniors, anti-anxiety, things along those lines, aren't tested for in the regular 5-panel. So we spend a lot of money to make sure it is the best fit for our clients. And we've done everything on our end. And should something go wrong, we do carry insurance, and all of our employees are bonded as well.
And that is so important. I have a situation where a daughter who is becoming a huge senior advocacy person, and I hope to have her on the show in the near future once the legal ramifications have cleared the way. This woman, her father, pulled someone off the street or got someone off the street to be the caregiver, and before the family knew, there was a prostitution ring and a drug lab in this person's home. And again, it's beyond a tragedy. He obviously lost almost everything, and this happens. This is not a joke. This is not something that's rare. This is actually way too common. So we're going to move it around. And how do we pay for some of this? So we'll be talking to Bruce McPherson with Security One Lending to give you some options to plan on and prepare, because healthcare is not cheap. It's not getting any cheaper. And if you own your own home or will be owning a home after 62, there are some options that you want to consider in financing. So we'll be right back. Stay tuned. Do not go away.
Welcome back to the Lunch Hour with Mr. Credit. And today it's Fastball Friday on ESPN Radio 1700.
Welcome back. You are listening to the Lunch Hour with Mr. Credit. This is Ron Greenwald, your host today. And in studio today, we have Sunita Upchurch with Elder Help. We have Bruce McPherson with Security One Lending. And we've been talking to Michael Sclar with Comfort Keepers. And Michael, tell us a little bit about the process, logistics of it, and some of the fees associated with Comfort Keepers.
Sure. So the general process is a concerned son or daughter, grandchild who gives us a call, says, I'm concerned about mom or dad. They're generally the last ones to realize they need the support. And we set up a complimentary assessment, whether they're ready for care or not. We enjoy working with planners as well. So we actually hired a firefighter to develop a home safety program. At the beginning of the show, we were talking about falls and hospitalizations. So it's a complimentary in-home safety assessment that this firefighter developed for us to look for trip hazards.
How timely is that?
How timely? We can usually get something set up within the same day, within a couple of hours.
So given the events of the week.
Given the events of the week, we've been working around the clock to make sure our caregivers are safe, our clients are safe, and those who have chosen to sign on with us but are not yet engaged in services. So we are still able to service without any interruption to our service. But if you are concerned, if there have been any falls, at least to do a no obligation, have a second set of eyes, someone who deals with this day in, day out, take advantage of it. So again, if you are interested, it's 877-938-8811. Again, that's 877-938-8811. And after that assessment takes place, where we learn, again, the physical needs as well as the personality of the attendant, our case managers do make a determination of how much it would cost. We do work with clients with many different types of budgets, whether it be just a safety choice technology, if someone has a fall where they could push a button for assistance, all the way through 24-hour care. And so a range, if you are working with a reputable company, would be somewhere.
And reputable is the key word. That's what Comfort Keepers is.
Right. Thank you for that. And definitely do your due diligence out there. So on a regular hourly rate, it would be somewhere between $22 and $26 an hour. And if your grandparent does need around-the-clock care, it can run somewhere between $310 and $350 per day in a live-in arrangement. And, of course, currently we are facing some current legislation here at the local level in San Diego.
Oh, boy.
Which we'll leave at that. But there may be a raise in minimum wage. There already was one on January 1st.
And let me just address that, since you brought it up and you're going to get me all piped up on that one. Again, what happens with minimum wage, and I know we all want to make a living, but what that will do is that will send your parents, your grandparents underground to go to Craigslist and go to non-reputable agencies that are not doing background checks, and it's just not the right thing to do at the right time. So we just can't afford it.
We are very concerned about that as well.
I know you spoke to
I spoke in front of City Council a couple weeks back to explain that for our seniors, those who are receiving care, those are the ones who it will truly affect. So for them to realize the implementation of raising minimum wage, and we do pay above minimum wage, but to raise it from the current rate of $8, supposed to go up to $9 as a federal mandate July 1st of this year, and then $10 again next year, to raise it to $13.09 is going to raise the cost of home care tremendously. So we are very concerned about that as well.
Well, Bruce, now we need you. Bruce, with Security One Lending, we want to get into the idea of planning. And I want to make people understand a reverse mortgage does not take title away from you. That is the misconception out there. Reverse mortgage, you stay in the home. You do not have to make payments on those reverse mortgage on the money you borrow, or you can keep it in a credit account and actually earn interest on it. But the biggest misconception is that you will be thrown out of your home at some point in time by the big bag, whoever, the big bag reverse mortgage monster or something like that.
One of the big myths out there.
It's not for everybody, but it certainly needs to be in the tool shed as a planning device. So, Bruce, tell us a little bit more about you, your company, and how do we get a hold of you?
Sure. So again, my name's Bruce McPherson. I've been specializing in the federally insured, federally created reverse mortgage program called the Home Equity Conversion Mortgage Program for the past 11 years. I work at Security One Lending, which is the largest full-service reverse mortgage company in the nation. And my toll-free number is 866-223-7174. That's 866-223-7174. And so it's important for anyone who cares about their parents or grandparents to really take a look at the long-term picture and help their parents look at their options and prepare for their future. Reverse mortgages, when properly implemented by a responsible specialist, are all about helping you fund your longevity, helping you protect you from longevity risk, which means the risk of outliving your money. And one of the, there's a lot of different ways that a reverse mortgage can be structured. And when you're working with somebody who's responsible and knows what they're doing, it can be structured perfectly to fit your needs, whether you need a lot of money right up front for some particular reason, or better yet, receive monthly payments that are guaranteed to never run out no matter how long you live there in your home. Or what I really like is the credit line, where the available credit is guaranteed to grow for you month after month after month. And what's great about that credit line is there's no cap on that growth. So eventually, it's possible for the credit line to someday grow even higher than what your home value is. And financial planners who have studied this, the experts in the financial planning field who have studied it and written papers on it over the past couple of years all come to the same conclusion, which is it makes a lot of sense to get this credit line in place, this HECM or reverse mortgage credit line in place as soon as you reach the qualifying age of 62, even if you might not need the money for another 10 or 20 years.
And that's something again, we know a lot of people are trying to retire. The baby boomers are now 62 to 65 years old, and they live here. And so it's a little different take of what we've been talking about. But if you own an average-priced home in San Diego, and let's say you were fortunate enough to pay off that mortgage, and it's a $600,000-$700,000 home, and you're 62, if you're a husband and wife, age 62 to 65, I think the tables say that one of you will live to age 90. I think that's where we're getting close to. So they could set up a credit line, not take any money out of it at this time. It's kind of financing their long-term care, possibly, because they may not need it till they're most likely in their 80s or 90s.
Right.
How would that work?
So I'll give you an example. So let's say the home is worth $500,000, and they put this reverse mortgage credit line in place as soon as they're both 62, and actually, pretty soon the rule will be changed so that only one of them would have to be 62. But it's actually better if they wait till they're both 62. So they put it in place. Let's say they'd qualify for a credit line of say $250,000 on that $500,000 home, and then every month that credit line will be growing at a guaranteed growth rate. Right now, we can do a growth rate of around the ballpark of 3-4%. If rates go up in the future, that growth rate goes up. So bottom line, let's say they don't touch that credit line. They let it grow for 30 years. Now they're 92, and they need in-home care. And that credit line will have grown to, say, I don't know, I'm guessing off the top of my head, it's well over $1 million, maybe in between $1 and $2 million of available credit, and they never have to make monthly payments, no matter how much they borrow from that credit line.
For those that did not study compounding interest back in school, please go back to your schoolwork and understand how compounding is.
The value of compounding.
The value of compounding.
Yes.
Yes. Yeah, we can talk about the rule of 72, and maybe that one. There's the tease for everybody to come back for our last segment here on the Mr. Credit Radio Hour. Bruce, fantastic. We're going to be back with more about that. We're going to tell you how with some events coming up with Elder Help that will help them support our seniors. So stay tuned. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back with more.
Welcome back to the Lunch Hour with Mr. Credit. And today it's Fastball Friday on ESPN Radio 1700.
Welcome back to the Lunch Hour with Mr. Credit. This is Ron Greenwald. Fastball Friday, I hear, is the theme of today. And we have the Padres playing Colorado, I understand, tonight. So hopefully they're kind of on a roll and things like that. We want to get back to Bruce McPherson on reverse mortgages. And so continue a little bit about some of the new rules that are coming into play that, again, are very important.
Sure. A rule is going to be coming into effect on August 4th that the government just announced about a week or so ago. That it's been a long-awaited rule. It's an improvement to the program, and it's going to eliminate the problem that has existed in the past where, up until now, if there was a husband and wife who owned a home, but if the wife, for example, was not age 62 or older, then only the husband could qualify for the reverse mortgage. And so, an ethical specialist would tell them, hey, wait until you're both 62 if you can afford to wait. But unfortunately, in a lot of cases, that's not the advice they got. And so the younger wife would deed herself off title so that the husband could qualify. And that would cause problems, of course, for the wife down the road if the husband predeceased her and the loan balance would come due. So now they're changing the rules so that in that situation, the wife would be protected. So if anybody applying for a reverse mortgage after August 4th who's in that situation where one of them is not age 62, that younger spouse will be protected. So if the older spouse dies first, the younger spouse, nothing will happen. The reverse mortgage loan balance will not come due. So they'll continue to own the home and live there as long as they want.
I actually have a purchase situation. You can use a reverse mortgage for a purchase of a home as well. Usually takes about a 40% down payment in that range.
Yep.
And here was the situation. They were two women, both about 80, 82 years of age. They were both airline I can't use the word stewardess anymore.
Flight attendant.
Flight attendant. Sorry, I'm sorry. Don't send any nasty emails. Flight attendants, and they were been best friends for 30 or 40 years. Both their husbands had passed away in the last 5 years, and they lived about 3 or 4 miles from one another. And they go, well, this is crazy. Why are we maintaining these two large homes? Why don't we sell both homes and buy a home? And from the proceeds of the sale of the two homes, we can buy a very nice, home that will accommodate us both. You'll have your wing, I'll have wing, flight attendant's wing. That was a joke for those out there. We'll both have our separate quarters, so to speak, and we can use it and do a reverse mortgage, and we'll never have to make a payment. We'll split the property taxes, and if there's any homeowners association fees or any if they buy. So
great.
That's what they did. And so, again, talking about either the intergenerational, where the grandparents are going to move in with the kids or the grandkids, and they want to go and buy a bigger home, so they have that. You can do that, right?
You can get the reverse mortgage. So in this example, what they did is they got the reverse mortgage on that new home as they were buying it. So that was their mortgage. That was their purchase mortgage.
Right.
It's called the purchase HECM or purchase reverse. And buy a home, buy the right home for your retirement, be able to afford the home you want, as long as you can put, say, 35 to 50% down, depending on your age, and never have a mortgage payment to make, guaranteed, from the day you buy it until the day you die.
Yeah, and there's also a story, though, again, because all these are based on life expectancy tables. It's like a life. It's kind of sound like a life insurance policy.
Right, because full disclosure here, because the loan balance is going to grow over time with deferred interest, unless you choose to make payments, which. But there was very few people. There
was a story of a lady in Cardiff, California, and she had a reverse mortgage on her home, but she lived way past life expectancy. She lived well into her early 100s. And so the reverse mortgage company, I'm sorry, Bruce, I have to say this, full disclosure, they ate it.
Yeah, yeah, they would have ended up giving her, by the time she passed away, they would have given her the money that they had given her over the years, assuming that she was receiving the monthly payments that are guaranteed to never run out, or if she had a credit line, because the credit line keeps growing. When you add up how much money they gave her over that time, I'm sure it was a lot more than what the value of the home was.
And more power to her.
Right, so she won. Yeah, that's the ultimate outcome.
It's a great game.
Right.
So if you think you're going to outlive, and you stay in your home. And
when that in a case like that where she took so much money over all those years, we have to assume the loan balance at the end was probably higher than the home's value. Right. But the just to clarify for the listeners, when you say the lender ate it, what that means is the heirs did not have to pay the difference.
Exactly.
There's a non-recourse provision. The lenders don't have recourse to come after assets, et cetera.
And I want to make that point very clear because we have the children listening.
Right.
The adult children are listening. Adult children, you do not lose anything in terms of nothing's going to come out of your pocket.
Right.
Now, again, the home is not yours, obviously. So,
it's your parents' home.
It's your parents'
and
home.
And you might still inherit some equity at the end.
If there's equity
left, it depends.
If there's equity at the end, you get it. So don't start crying and all that whining. So, because I believe, and I'm going to steal a line from Paul Greenwood, our famous our deputy district attorney, and God love Paul for what he's doing out there. Mm-hmm. When he talks, he mentions the ski vacation. And we all know what spend kids' inheritance. You deserve the highest quality of life. You deserve the respect as an elder. You've been, if you're a World War II veteran, now we're dealing with Korean War veterans, you deserve it. Don't feel bad about going out and getting the money that you need to enjoy your quality of life, whether it's through elder help, comfort keepers, or a reverse mortgage. Kids, sorry. Too bad. You go out and make it on your own, and I'm sorry, that's the way I feel about that. So with that in mind, we have a charity fund run coming up to help raise money for an amazing nonprofit called Elder Help. When is that, Sunita?
That is June 7th at Roadrunner Sports.
At Roadrunner Sports in Kearney Mesa?
Yeah.
Oh, fabulous.
Yeah.
I need a new pair of tennis shoes, by the way.
Right. It's a 5K fun run, 1K family walk, so it's family friendly. We welcome all families and pets to come and join us. It's complete.
I can bring my dog?
Absolutely.
I'm there.
Absolutely. It's free. You just go to our website and sign up, and we're at www.
But we want donations. That's
yes.
Right? Okay.
We would love donations. We would love for you to build a team and come out as a team and fundraise for us.
And they can go to your website for more information on
absolutely.
this? Okay, so I'm going to give that one. www.elderhelpofsandiego.org, not the com thing. www.elderhelpofsandiego.org. And again, the dates are?
It's June 7th.
June 7th. What time?
Good question.
Do we know it? Uh-oh. I will get you. We got how many minutes? We got 1 minute. Oh, my goodness gracious. Okay, and what do you have going? You're going to Brazil.
Well, speaking of ski trips, Ron, I don't have any children yet, but why not spend in advance? So I'm fortunate enough. I've been, speaking of planning, saving since the last World Cup, $100 a month to have exactly $4,800. So I'll be going down to Brazil, supporting the U.S. and the World Cup, and hope to come back victors.
That's fantastic. That's a great trip. Are you going to be in Rio?
Rio for a week, Iguazu, the Amazon, and then I'll be back.
Okay, I got to wrap this up. Bruce, I want to give your phone number. Give your phone number one last time because you're going to finance all this fun.
It's 866 866-223-7174. That's my toll-free direct line, 866-223-7174. And real quick, I've got an announcement on this coming Wednesday, the 21st. We're going to be doing a seminar at our corporate headquarters, which happens to be right here in San Diego. This is for financial planners, attorneys, accountants, realtors, bankers, anybody who works with seniors, who's a professional, who wants to be more educated about all the different options and strategies that can utilize a reverse
Come
mortgage.
listen to Bruce and don't read what's published in the newspaper, because most of those people have never even talked up to a reverse mortgage person in their life.
They
so
never get it right.
The press. Well, welcome. Thank you all. I had to run. I don't even have time to say goodbye. Have a great weekend. Be safe out there, and go shake and hug a first responder this weekend. Please do so and give them some loving from all of us. Thanks. Have a great weekend, everybody.
If you would like to contact Mr. Credit or access any free offers mentioned on the show, just go to mrcredit.org. That's mrcredit.org.